let's start with the strikers. Let's have a look at the matchups now between Arsenal and Inter Milan, who are their opponents this week. Let's have a look at the comparisons, what they've got and what Arsenal have got.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting game. I think Arsenal may rotate a little bit now as their top. It feels like they're going through. When I look at the strikers for Arsenal, I think Victor Gyökeres has been spoken about way too much, in my opinion. He's having an okay season. I think when you look to the striker market and you spend the money you spend on Victor Gyökeres, you would expect a bit more. I think that's a fair assessment.
Troy, some Arsenal fans would say you're being generous with okay.
I agree. Look, I've had my say in it from the start. I got a lot of Arsenal fans giving me stick, and now all of a sudden I seem to know what I'm talking about. This encapsulates him as a person.
Oh, he's a bit unlucky. That's a difficult ball, isn't it, Troy?
No, but the problem isn't about doing that. It's the fact that watch Murillo. He slips here. When you're falling at that point, you've got to get away. You've got to get your body across. He doesn't. I just think he's struggling to have that real effect. When I look at him and I look at the players, I don't think the players trust him to give him the ball. I think Gabriel Jesus is a better footballer, all-round footballer, but he doesn't have that killer instinct of trying to get goals that Gyökeres has. For me, he's the one. Kai Havertz, again, been injured. A lot was made of him last year, but he's the best footballer and he's probably the best finisher out of the three. I think he's a fantastic footballer, and the more they get him fit and back in, I think the better opportunity they have. I think he connects the team better. I think he drops defenders down, allows Saka to run in behind. I think with Gyökeres, the team has to change a little bit too much to get to where they want. Obviously, you're an Arsenal fan, so you tell me.
I have been disappointed by Gyökeres so far. Hold-up play hasn't been there. He doesn't use his body well enough. When you're a big guy like that, you have to at least let the ball stick to you. You got to win balls in there. He's not doing any of that. He can't run in behind. His first touch has been poor. His connecting play has been poor. Even the finishing has been poor overall. He looks like a man who doesn't really have the confidence. This team doesn't quite play to his strengths, and he's not playing to their strengths. I fully agree with you. Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz are better fits for this team as they play right now. Kai Havertz is still working into this season. Gabriel Jesus is working into this season. Gabriel Jesus looks stronger. He looks a little bit, he's putting himself out about a bit. As soon as he comes onto the pitch for Gyökeres, chances start to get created. The one positive, two big positives I will say for Gyökeres is he attracts so much attention. Obviously, he hasn't been getting the goals, but he has attracted a lot of attention away from other players. And Arsenal defend much better when he's on the pitch. He will chase everything. He presses center halves.
Okay, so we've gone
Jesus
here.
Yeah.
But how big a question is there here?
Yeah, for me, Miles Lewis-Skelly, again, last year, I said it last year, I think he's a fantastic human being. I think he's a fantastic footballer. We have to put it into perspective. He's a midfielder by trade. So he's playing out of position. But last year, I thought it was massively unfair by media to start comparing him to Ashley Cole.
Ridiculous.
He's the new Ashley. Ashley Cole is the best left-back England have ever
One of the
produced.
best left-backs of all time.
Yeah.
I agree. In my opinion, he's in the top three. I would definitely make an argument he's number one. And then Lewis-Skelly, they started putting into that. I think Frimpong in the game against Liverpool highlighted just the lack of raw pace that he has. Wonderful technician and player. But I think the lack of game time and such a young person and expecting him to come in and be at that level every time is very, very difficult. And I think it's going to be a massive game for him. When you start to look at him, Geoff, as a player, and you look at what was going to be coming now from this Inter side, with Henrik coming down this opposite side, Thuram will look to try and pull into these corners. This Inter team is very expansive. So if they get it right, it looks great. For me, it's a perfect game for this Arsenal setup because they're so expansive, because they play well. And the back three there, Bissek, Bastoni and Akanji, there's no real pace there.
None.
I think these three here, Trossard, Jesus and Saka, will have a field day. They'll pick them up. They'll be going 1v1, Akanji versus Saka. And I think that unless they can dominate the ball, which I don't believe any team can now against this Arsenal team, I really don't. Maybe Man City at a push. I think it's all on for Arsenal to have a big win.
Aaron, I'm interested in your thoughts as to how Mikel Arteta will approach this game. They looked tired at the weekend. They were jaded. It's been, although they had chances, a lot of fixtures, as you pointed out. They're very solid where they're sat in the Champions League. Of course, unbeaten in the Champions League, so they want to retain that. Yeah. But they've got a huge game against Manchester United at the weekend, who will have rested all week. So will he gamble and rest a few?
I think that he might rest a Gyökeres. I think we could see a different player as in Gabriel Jesus as is in this lineup. I think we might see a Jesus.
Do you think he might do 2 or 3, though?
The biggest question is left back. Will it be Timber at left back and then Ben White at right back?
Aaron, that would be tactical.
Physically?
Does he rest people?
The match is on Tuesday. I don't think he necessarily needs to rest them. The match against United is Sunday. That's enough time for you to play a big match and get rested and ready for this one, especially since Inter is a contender. This is a kind of a statement match for Arsenal, especially in a little bit of a rough period where they've dropped some points. I think he goes as full strength as he can, Arteta, to try to win this one convincingly, get through, qualify fully, not just to scrape through with the point that they need. I feel Arteta wants to win this one convincingly, and I think the strongest 11 he can put out, he will put out.
I think that would be the wrong choice. If it was me now, if I was working that team, I'd be advising him, let's put out a different 11. Let's leave. Obviously, you can change Saka. Saka was on the bench of the weekend, but I would say let's take Saka out. Let's take Declan Rice out, Zubimendi out, and the 2 centre-backs.
You go wholesale changes.
I would, because if we lose this game, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't give anything. Also, if you go out there with your strongest team and you win 6-0, you don't gain anything. I would just take them all away because there's more games to come. You've got United at the weekend. You've got the Carabao Cup game coming up. You've got the Champions League game.
Even with this match on Tuesday, you don't think it's enough time
but
to
there's travel as well. So for me, I would just say 4 or 5 of you, just stay at home. Don't worry about it. We're going to give the others a go. And also, if we lose one game, does it matter?
Okay.
Does it matter? We've done enough.
So the same question applies to this side. How will Inter approach this? Yes, they're the home team as well, but they're also in a title race.
They need results in the Champions League. They have to go their strongest 11. They need a result against this Arsenal team. They're not close to the same position they are.
Do you expect to see anything different from that?
No, maybe a change up front in body, maybe up front. But all in all, Jeff, it's a weird one. Yes, they're top. Yes, they're doing well. The feeling around the club is that
nervousness.
It's not real. It sounds like we're talking about Arsenal, but I'm probably sure I'm not. But also, there's that statement win that they haven't had yet in the Champions League.
They haven't had any wins against big teams.
Yeah, but I said they've had 1 win against Milan. That's the only one in the big teams that they've ever played. So I think when you start to look at it, there's a lot there. And again, you're looking at the comparisons here, Jeff. I'll let you take that away.
Well, you can see where they are now, see where they finished last season. It's basically a serial loser if you go all the way down there. I know it's unkind, but it's a fact. Their season last season, we saw it promised so much. And it fizzled out, and they brought us some fantastic football. I'm particularly thinking about the semi-finals against Barca.
Yeah.
But they ended up empty-handed.
But to that point, though, since that, there's been this feeling around that we can't get over the line, this feeling that we can't beat the big teams. So for me now, this is why this game becomes so much more important to Inter than it does Arsenal. I'm not talking about Arsenal, I promise you.
But you could be talking about Arsenal. Aaron, this is Troy is an Arsenal hater, so he's whipped out his Arsenal cheat sheet and he's just changed it to Inter.
Objective at all times. But when I look at Inter, just to keep it about Inter, you were on for a treble, possibly a quadruple last year.
Yeah.
And from this moment in the season all the way to the end, it just fell apart, bit by bit. You've got to exercise some demons. You have to get rid of that now. So I think this game is huge. Arsenal, I think you can take a little bit of a break. You're in a commanding position in a lot of situations. The FA Cup they're more or less through on this one. A nice draw. They've got the Carabao Cup second round coming up. They're in a commanding lead. They've also got the Premier League going up. I would just go, okay, we could afford this 1 week.
Get him some minutes.
Yeah, this 1 week where you can just change it.
Do you think in this game, because, Aaron, the mentality that Troy spoke about there, both of these teams, they've been close but no cigar last couple of seasons. More than ever, first goal in this game is
huge, absolutely huge, especially for this Inter side that have had such a rocky go of it. I think Cristian Chivu hasn't won anything with Inter. The jury is still out with him. A massive first goal in front of that crowd, the San Siro crowd, getting them going, getting that energy going would be huge for them. This Arsenal team, they get scored on first. it changes some things. It's Arteta. Do we need to bring in the starters if we do rest players?
And that's why I wouldn't bring them at all.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even have them. I'd have them at home
So
because
he's not even tempted.
There you go. Because we've seen it. We've seen it with the likes of Chelsea, Maresca earlier. They was away at Carabao. Lavia goes down after 7 minutes. Caicedo comes in.
Nothing to gain. Nothing to gain.
So for me, just rest it.